Quan says, do you think a new trader can do that well, or should I just stick to one strategy, counter trend? I think a new trader should start with one strategy. I think the best way to start is to trade one strategy on one time frame or one time frame set, meaning like a swing trader or a day trader, on one pair. Now, I know that's very remedial, but if you can't handle one strategy on one set of time frames on one pair, then you can't handle two. If you can't handle two, you can't handle three. So I would always start by mastering a single way of trading, right? The worst thing that you can do is become what's the phrase? What's that phrase where you don't master anything, and jack of all trades, all that fun stuff? Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. So you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to be that. Because the jack of all trades means that you do a lot of things, but you're not really good at any of them. So you're basically treading water, right? You can float in the water. You can tread. You can't drown, right? That's great. That's great. That's great. But are you actually going anywhere when you're treading? No, you're staying in one place, wasting a lot of energy. And in the market, wasting a lot of energy, right, is actually wasting a lot of money, right? Do you guys know this is a negative sum game? People think Forex is a zero-sum game, right? What a zero-sum game is, oh, there's a winner for every loser and blah, 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 right? There's actually always a winner. The broker, right? I told you guys about the euro-yen trade, right? I took a trade on the euro-yen last week. I was in the trade for 6 days. I got stopped out for break-even on my position. Price had hit targets. I didn't get filled, but it hit targets. So I reduced my stop loss because I wanted to reduce my risk. I had about, what was the stop loss in that? 30-something pips, 35 pips of risk. So I wanted to reduce that to zero because it's all about risk management, right? That's how consistently profitable traders get down, right? Proper risk management. However, did you know that's actually a losing trade? It's technically a losing trade, right? Broker fees, commissions, rollover. Now, again, rollover, I haven't checked it. Rollover can go in your favor as well, right? Sometimes rollover, it depends on what side of the interest rates you're on. It can actually go in your favor. You can get paid by carrying things overnight. That's kind of the whole carry trade concept that people do at certain times when the interest rates are out of whack. But in general, let's say you're going to pay a rollover fee, you're going to play, your spreads, your commissions like that. I actually lost money. Now, not a lot of money to make any type of significant difference, but imagine yourself being the jack of all trades again, where you're not really winning, right? And you're losing, but you're kind of trading break even. You're actually still slowly bleeding your account because of those broker fees, because of the cost of doing business, right? So it's fun. It's cool to know a lot of things. And this really kind of carries or piggybacks on the conversation we had last week on the podcast I put out last week about some of these trading websites and companies teaching you everything there is to know about trading, but not actually teaching you how to use it. It's all fun. You have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of tools in your shed, right? You can brag to your friends. But what matters most at the end of the day is making profit, right? We're all in this business to make profit. I know we always preach process over outcome. That's the way you make profit. At the end of the day, we want to make money. And you're not going to make money if you haven't mastered something. So my advice is to do this. Master a single strategy. Master a single strategy on a single pair. On a single set of time frames, right? So be a swing trader or a day trader. Don't bounce around from every single time frame. After you master that, you should be making money. While you're making money, you can move on to the next thing. And that's how I've evolved as a trader. Joseph just says, or David just said, you followed the same thing with advanced patterns. Yeah, when I started, and this was after years and years and years and years of failing, right? I started with a single advanced pattern. I started trading Gartley patterns, right? I noticed that I needed complete structure in how I was trading because I was making a lot of psychological mistakes. So I went back to pattern trading because there was the least amount of subjectivity, right? It had very strict rules. There's a lot of discretion in price action trading, right? Double bottoms, double tops, it's kind of up to the eyes, more artsy than science. Pattern trading, aside from the initial impulse leg, it was all rules based, right? If this level is hit, then it's that. If this level isn't hit, then it's not that. If the A leg does this, then it's broken. If the A leg doesn't do that, then it's invalid, right? Very, very strict and simple. And I started trading Gartleys. I started on I didn't start on a single pair, but I started on a very small portfolio. And as I was making bank on that portfolio, I started adding it, right? Because I was trading Gartleys and I was a swing trader. So you can imagine that I had a heck of a lot of free time, right? Gartley pattern, I think I took like maybe 2 or 3 trades a month. So the rest of that time was spent back testing, and I would back test and I would slowly add to my portfolio until I was trading like a 12 pair portfolio, right? And just increasing the amount of opportunities I had, right? Opportunities didn't come that often on a single pair. I may get one pattern opportunity on a pair every 2 months, but if I'm trading 12 pairs, obviously the frequency is going to increase. And then after I finished Gartleys, I had a nice portfolio of trading Gartleys. I was in the same thing, right? I was trading well, I was making money, and I had some free time because, as a pattern trader, you don't really do much. You identify it, you put an order on, and then you wait for like a couple weeks on the higher time frames for it to fill. And one of the things that I did, aside from like dilly-dallying with range bar trading and other strategies and trying to create something of my own to feed my ego, I went on to bat patterns. And then I went through the same process, and I was trading bats and Gartleys. And then I added cipher patterns, and I was trading bats, Gartleys, and ciphers. And then I added more structure trading, kind of went back to structure trading, and I added structure trading, and then I kind of went back to this and that and this. So I just slowly started adding pieces, but only once I had mastered each one. So I didn't try to do everything at once. I did one thing, I mastered it, and then I worked on another thing, and I added it. And it takes time. It takes time. It's not an easy process, but you get to the point eventually where you see me here in the live room each and every day. I mean, how many different ways do I trade now? How many different ways can I go to find opportunities? And it's just, you got to be patient. You got to be patient. Curious, was that company OTA on the podcast? I'm not going to review. I don't know what the company was, honestly. I have an idea of what it was, but I don't know what it was. So yeah, it was never actually said, but just know by the pricing and by the trader's experience, I had a feeling of what it was. Then do you think CTS is too much for a new trader? No, not if you're good at it. That's going to be the question that you have to ask for yourself. Are you good at it? Do you feel overwhelmed? If you feel like you can handle it, I think it's fine. Do you think like it's a little bit too much? You don't trust your eyes enough, too much discretion, too many moving pieces? Then doing something simpler may be the answer. But that's something that you're going to have to figure out and really give an honest assessment of yourself. Can I actually do that?